and kind of a half surfing little fishing village. And it's quite interesting here. When I came here 3 years ago, there were some things going on, not hardly anything going on, and over 3 years now, they have like 4 yoga studios here, meditation groups. They have Mayan calendar meetings every week.
Huh.
It's just amazing how this has grown, and it's a very, very spiritual community. And we've been teaching these ancient Tibetan techniques that are 2,000 years old. They just released them to help people make this shift, and boy, they just love it, and they're eating it up, and they're taking it to the schools and showing the kids in the schools now, and I'm just blown away at how much things have evolved here in the past 3 years.
Well, where it used to be secret knowledge, and in past lives people were killed.
Oh yeah.
Or they wanted the secret knowledge, but now it is time to start sharing it with everybody else.
Well, that's what I'm seeing. I work a lot with Lakota elders and some other elders, and there's still a little bit of in-house arguing, but the majority of them are saying, look, people need all of this knowledge to get through the times we're going through, and it's time to let go and release it. And so every tradition has a path, you might say a way or some secret knowledge, but they all admit that their way is not the only way. It's when all ways come together that we're going to finally have universal peace.
That goes back to the times whenever the white man first came in, took over the Indians. They killed them to get rid of their knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally they had to hide it to protect it.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably why they're so reluctant now to allow everybody to know.
Yeah. And, you can't blame them. I've got some Cherokee relations in my background, and they did the Trail of Tears and everything else, and I totally understand.
The Trail of Tears was right here through here where I live.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Arkansas, and my
so you're probably real familiar.
My husband had Cherokee blood. But, when I worked with the Swamis, and I had long talks with them, as I didn't want to say anything in my lectures that would be against their teachings. I'm very respectful of people's beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, you can say anything you want. Well, when I began going over some of the things I've written about, later they told me, what you are talking about is the ancient Vedic teachings that we don't teach anyone. It's very, very old. So what I think is new information is actually very ancient information, and now it's coming out to the masses instead of being the hidden. And they think this is wonderful. They said, let the people know.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on to something. Something is opening up here anyway.
Oh, yeah. It's I've seen over and over, when you get into the old Vedic scriptures, it's quite even. You talk to the Tibetan masters, the ones that are still aware of the real history. Everything points back. Like these teachings, the Kunlun teachings, they go all the way back to Egypt, and then what they say is that from Egypt they go back to Atlantis and Lemuria, and from there they go to the stars. And they said it's the original practices, the simple practices that they used to practice, that they shared with humanity. It sets up a circuitry and a way of building energy and working with the 4 elements and everything. But, it's amazing when you track all of this back, it all seems to go back to the stars.
Yes, it does. And so it all fits together because, like I said, I was afraid to talk about some of these things, and they said, no, it all fits.
Mm-hmm.
And I know after I finished speaking at one ashram, They had the students were all around the Swami asking them questions. I didn't know what it was. I left, and later one of them told me they were wanting to know, what she's saying, is that true? And he said she speaks from the highest authority.
Oh, nice.
And I thought that was wonderful that he knew. I don't know it, but somehow what I'm getting is real. It's true anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the reporter. I have to put it all together, and then I got to remember all of this stuff.
I found one thing fascinating recently. They have this movie Avatar that came out, and have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I've heard it's pretty good. It's got hidden messages in it.
Oh, great messages in it. But what I found fascinating is about 10 years ago, we started connecting with these beings that are felines. Yeah. And I know I'm having Mary Rodwell on the show. And,
she's an old friend of mine.
Yeah, and she's been having these experiences with people that she's been regressing as well. And I know 3 scientists were actually given technology, I can't mention their names, from these beings when they were kids and are still connected to them. But
yes, I've written, in one of my books, I've written about the cat people.
Uh-huh.
And other people, they'll email me and say, I remember this.
Yeah, and we have pictures on our website of I had a painting done of one where, it was like a forensic painting where I told them exactly what she looked like, and they made it. It was one that I work with on a spiritual level. Yeah. But, extremely advanced beings. And, I started looking when it happened to me, I thought I was going crazy. I go, what is this about? And then I found out, they called them Narshringa in the past, and, there's Sekhmet, and there's all these connections there with these lion people or felines, and it just goes way back, and it's very well documented in ancient history.
Well, see, I think that could be one of the reasons why the Egyptians worshipped cats.
Mm-hmm.
It was much more there than the scientists realized.
Mm-hmm. And I also feel the Hathors, or some people call them the Hathors, the ancient word for them, is I believe they're felines, not bovine. People say they're cow beings, but they seem feline to me.
Well, some of the masks on the old hieroglyphics, and those are not masks. I think those were probably the way they really looked.
Mm-hmm. It seems like each animal has a highly evolved aspect of it, somewhere else in the universe or on some other dimension.
Well, that's why in my sessions, nothing surprises me. If they go into lifetimes where they were these different kinds of beings. Mm-hmm. It surprises the person. They said, what's going on here? But I said, I've heard this before. Mm-hmm. As somebody just starting out in past life regression, some of these things might shake them up. But after 40 years, nothing surprises me anymore.
Yeah. I always tell people you're going to have to, learn to view the world with loving detachment, because things are going to get real interesting from here on out.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're coming to the end. Can I give out you told them the website, didn't you, that they could...
Yeah, but definitely, people should definitely get a hold of your books, your trilogy, and why don't you go ahead and give them that information? Okay,
because, the Ozark Mountain Publishing, it's my company, and it's not just my books. We have, 50 other authors that we publish, all in the metaphysical field. Mm-hmm. And I do have a conference I put on every year, too, in June, where we have fantastic speakers. Great. But my company is Ozark Mountain Publishing, and so we abbreviate that on our website. Mm-hmm. And that's OZARKMT.com. Mm-hmm. And if you're overseas, it's OZARKMT.com.
Great. And they also hit Dolores Cannon as well.
Yeah, DoloresCannon.com. And on there you have my schedule. We have, as I do teach, I'm teaching my classes. I'm teaching everyone to do what I do with the hypnosis method, teaching it all over the world. And I have my schedules on the classes, the lectures, and the books are on there. And if anybody wants to call, we have a long waiting list for sessions, but still, this is how you contact through the website or through our 800 number.
Yeah. Now, go ahead and give your 800 number.
Okay, that's 1-800-935-0045.
Great. Well, Dolores, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. It's just been an amazing interview, and I know everybody is just waiting to hear this one. I'm getting flooded already with emails, so it's going to be up Tuesday on the World Puja Network. And, again, just thank you for all the work you've been doing, and I think somebody should give you a big gold crown, for all the time you've invested, because you're like the queen of this field.
Well, like you said, we have barely scratched the surface on the amount of information I've obtained anyway.
Great. Well, we'll do it again. We'll do it again real soon, and hopefully we'll connect together on with some other venues as well.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. And thanks for having me on.
All right. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Okay.
All right. This is James Gillen with World